Yun, then I'll be having some announcements to you later uh, regarding sa ating face-to-face next week. Yun. So, I'll be starting to present my screen. Let me know if kita nyo na. Yan. Kita nyo na screen ko?
Yes po, sir.
Sige, thank you. So, let's start our discussion with the introduction to conduction. Then, alam naman natin that conduction is governed by the Fourier's law. And Fourier's law, again, this is when in terms of heat flux, this is Q double prime is equal to negative K dt over dx. Wherein yung K natin again is your thermal conductivity and your dt over dx is your temperature gradient or the change in temperature with respect sa position. In this case, it's in x position or in x direction. And ito, yung thermal conductivity natin or based dito sa ating Fourier's law, sa equation natin, we can state that the higher the thermal conductivity is or means a greater heat conduction. Sa pagtaas ng ating thermal conductivity, we do also have higher heat conduction. Then, that is also true when it comes to the temperature gradient. Sa pagtaas ng temperature gradient natin of the system, there will also be a higher heat conduction. So that means that this is directly proportional. Both of these parameters, the thermal conductivity and the temperature gradient, are directly proportional to your heat conduction or your conduction, your heat flow, your heat rate. Lahat sila ay directly proportional doon. And yung thermal conductivity natin, this is gaya ng na-discuss natin on our first meeting, this is a property of a material that that uh, has the ability to conduct and diffuse thermal energy. So sa pagtaas ng value ng thermal conductivity, that means that they can transfer thermal energy better. So, yan. And yan, yung thermal conductivity, syempre, that is a property. This is a property that we consider in analyzing thermal conduction. And we also do have two different types of thermophysical properties. We do have a transport properties and the thermodynamic properties. Transport properties, these are the properties that that transport thermal energy. Ito yung mga properties ng material natin na nagko-quantify na may ability to conduct heat easily. So we do have first, it's your thermal conductivity, syempre, your thermal conductivity, which is again the ability of a material to transfer heat or thermal energy. And we also have kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity, where we know that kinematic viscosity is a parameter or is a property that is a momentum transfer, or it quantifies your momentum transfer. And when we talk about thermodynamic properties, these are the properties of the material that makes the material in equilibrium state. Kasi ibig sabihin, these properties define the equilibrium state of a material. Those are what we call the thermodynamic properties. And what are those thermodynamic properties na kino-consider natin when analyzing conduction? We do have first your density. We consider the density of a material. This is in terms of mass per unit volume. And we also do have our specific heat. When we say specific heat or the specific heat capacity, when we say specific heat capacity, this is the ability of a material to withstand or to store, to withstand a certain amount of heat, to withstand or to store or uh, to withstand a specific amount of heat in its system. So this is a CP. Yan, this is K, this is your V, this is your rho. Yan. So where or why is it why do we need to consider these properties, both the transport properties and the thermodynamic properties in thermal in conduction? That is because sa conduction ay need natin malaman ang thermal diffusivity, your thermal diffusivity. And sa thermal diffusivity, this is a parameter involving both the transport properties and the thermodynamic properties, because when we define thermal diffusivity, this is the ability of a material to transfer energy, to transfer thermal energy relative to its ability to store energy. So this is your definition of your thermal diffusivity. Pag sinabi nating thermal diffusivity, this is a parameter kung saan gaano kabilis mag-spread ang heat on a given material. Gaano kabilis mag-dissipate, mag-spread out yung heat on our material. And based from this definition, we can already derive the equation for thermal diffusivity. Thermal diffusivity is denoted as alpha, which is, sabi dito sa definition natin, is the ability of a material to transfer thermal energy. So ano yung property, what is the property that is able to transfer thermal energy? That is our thermal conductivity. So that's thermal conductivity relative to its ability to store energy. How do we solve for energy stored or the stored energy? Paano natin siya sinasolve? Diba? That is MCP delta T. MCP delta T. And if in terms of density, makukuha natin si M, si mass, through density times volume. 'Di ba? So again, ang stored energy natin, 'di ba, this is MCP delta T. So this is just the same with rho CP volume delta T, 'di ba? And this is how you store energy. Ito yung formula natin to store energy. What are those properties to store energy? That is your rho and CP. Rho and CP. So this is your formula for thermal diffusivity. Wherein your K is your thermal conductivity, your density, and your specific heat. And uh, our thermal diffusivity is in terms of square meter per second. Again, ang thermal diffusivity, ito yung kakayahan ng material or ito yung parameter na nagsasabi kung gaano kabilis mag-spread ang heat, sa isang system, given the volume. And yan, wherein your K again is your thermal conductivity and your rho Cp, this is your volumetric. We call this as your volumetric heat capacity. Yan, K over rho Cp. And paano nakuha yung square meter per second? 'Di ba? Ang thermal conductivity is watt per meter Kelvin all over kilogram per cubic meter times joule per kilogram Kelvin. So ito cancel. Ang watts natin is joule per second. So cancel 'yan. Then kilogram. May isang meter sa baba, may tatlo. sa denominator ng denominator, so magiging numerator yan, may matitira tayong square meter per second. Ito yung second, ito yung square meter. Cancel. Magiging dalawa to. So square meter per second. So that is your thermal diffusivity. Given that your units are in watt per meter Kelvin for thermal conductivity, density is at kilogram per cubic meter, and your specific heat capacity is in joule per kilogram Kelvin. Yan. Yan yung ating uh, formula. And saan natin makukuha itong mga values na to? Saan natin makukuha ang property na to? Itong thermal conductivity, itong density, itong specific heat. Saan natin siya makukuha? Makukuha natin siya sa appendix ng ating reference book, which I uploaded already sa ating Google Classroom. That is the thermophysical properties of matter. Yon, and siya ay nasa manual nyo din. Since wala pa kayong copy, in-upload ko siya doon. In-upload ko yung thermophysical properties, but nasa manual nyo rin siya sa last part ng inyong manual. Yan. Again, you will find this properties on the back part of your manual. But for now, I want you to open that file. I want you to open the file that I uploaded in the Google Classroom. Let's try to solve for this. Let's try to solve for the thermal diffusivity of these materials. So, sabi dito, the thermal diffusivity is the controlling transport property for transient conduction using appropriate values of thermal conductivity, your density, and your specific heat from Appendix A. Calculate for the following materials at the prescribed temperatures: pure aluminum at 600 Kelvin, silicon carbide at 1000 Kelvin, and paraffin at 300 Kelvin. I want you to open the file. I want you to open the file and look for these properties, for the properties of these materials. So again, to solve, we need to first have our known, let's say, materials at prescribe temperature. Then find is your thermal conductivity, thermal diffusivity. Thermal diffusivity of the materials. And then next is a schematic diagram. Will not be having schematic diagram kasi siya naman ay we just need to solve for thermal diffusivity. Wala naman tayong medium. So we can skip muna yung schematic diagram. Let's have your assumptions. Your assumptions would be, since we're talking about properties, we can assume that this would be constant properties. Constant properties. Again, anong ibig sabihin pag constant properties? Ito, ibig sabihin, yung properties natin na mga yan ay hindi nagbabago even if the temperature changes. Kahit magbago ang temperature, hindi magbabago ang values ng properties natin. So that is what we mean by constant properties. Then, next is properties. Properties. Now, dito sa properties, kailangan natin kuhanin lahat ng properties na kailangan ng sa ating pagsusod. So una is you look for pure aluminum at 600 Kelvin. I want you to look for the values of the density, specific heat, and your thermal conductivity. Paki-open ng file, pabigay sa akin ng values nito. Ng pure aluminum at 600 Kelvin. Pakihanap. Anong values nito? Anyone? Values ng pure aluminum at 600 Kelvin. Anong density niya?
2,702 po, sir.
2,702 kilogram. Oops, sorry.
Kilogram per cubic meter po.
Thank you. Yan, kung mapapansin nyo, di ba, wala naman sinabing 600 Kelvin, yan density na yan. Because we assume na hindi naman nagbabago yung density natin at a given temperature, we can use that kasi yan yung nasa table. How about your specific heat and your thermal conductivity? Dito, itong parameter na dalawang to, this is defined dyan sa table. Makikita nyo yan dyan sa table. So, dapat exact siya at 600 Kelvin. Anong value niya?
Ang CP po ay
1,033 po at 231.
Ano yung 1,033? CP?
CP po.
Joule per kilogram Kelvin. And your thermal conductivity is
231 po.
231 watt per meter Kelvin. Yan. I hope everyone was able to find these values. Where did you find these values? This is from table what?
Table 1 po.
Table A1.
A1.
Table A.1.
A1.
Yeah, so this is how you write your properties, di ba? Kasi last time when we discussed, wala tayong kinonsider na properties kasi giniven yan. But pag hindi given, you will look for it sa mga tables natin. The next is for the silicon carbide. For silicon carbide, at 1,000 Kelvin. Now look for the values of your density, your specific heat capacity, and your thermal conductivity of the silicon carbide at 1,000 Kelvin. Give me the value for density.
3,160 po.
3,160 kilogram per cubic meter. How about the specific heat?
1,195 po.
1,195 joule per kilogram Kelvin. And your thermal conductivity?
87 po.
87 po.
87 watt per meter Kelvin. Yan. And this is found on table
A.2 po.
A.2. Thank you. And last for our paraffin at 300 Kelvin. Paraffin at 300 Kelvin.
900
Density.
po ang density.
Sige, 900.
Ang thermal
Kilogram.
conductivity po ay 0.24. Ang specific heat po ay 2,890. From table A.3 po.
Ayan, thank you. This is table A.3. Yan, so kompleto na yung parameters natin. Now, I want you to solve for the thermal diffusivity. So again, our thermal diffusivity is your alpha equals K over rho Cp. For pure aluminum, give me the answer. Buensalida. Buensalida, pure aluminum. Silicon carbide, malihan. Silicon carbide, malihan. Paraffin, palaganas. So, pure aluminum. Anong value natin for pure aluminum? Buensalida.
Sir, wait lang po. Nag-input pa lang po sa calculate.
Sige lang.
$8.2761.
8 point.
2761 po.
Kompleto. Ano sunod?
Tapos, tatlong 1 pong kasunod, 31. Tatlong 1 po, tas 31 times 10 raised to the 5th.
So, this is your thermal diffusivity for pure aluminum. Nakuha ba ng lahat to? Pareho ng nakuhang value? Yung iba, ito din yung nakuha.
Yes po.
Yes po, sir.
Sige, thank you. How about the silicon carbide? Sa silicon carbide, our thermal diffusivity is
2.30 390339
2 point, sorry, 2 point.
3039
Sorry, hindi ko marinig.
Hello.
2 point
2.30
30
39
39
03395
03395.
times 10 raised to negative 5.
Thank you. Pareho lang nakuha ng sagot nyo. Ito din ba nakuha ng sagot?
Yes po, sir.
Thank you. Then how about the paraffin? Paraffin, si sino yung tinawag ko kanina? Palaganas. Anong value ng paraffin? Palaganas. Absent ba yun?
Wait lang po sir, inaano pa lang po.
Sige lang. Anong value ng thermal diffusivity? Sige, anyone, anong value? Pa-type na lang. Tatagal tayo. Anong nasolve yung value dito sa paraffin? Nine point 2272203 times 10 to the negative 8 square meter per second. Thank you. So, yan. This is how you solve for thermal diffusivity. Again, kung mapapansin nyo, sa values natin, sa pagtaas niyan, ibig sabihin, ganun kabilis mag-spread ang heat on a unit area. Ganun kabilis mag-spread. And we'll be using this on our analysis sa heat diffusion equation. What is the heat diffusion equation, or what is a heat diffusion equation? This is a partial differential equation. This is a partial differential equation used to analyze conduction. Bakit need nating malaman? Bakit need natin ma-establish ang heat diffusion equation of a certain geometry or of a certain material? Kasi dito tayo magbe-base or dito natin makukuha yung ating temperature distribution. Dito natin makukuha yung temperature distribution at saka yung ating heat rate equation o yung heat rate or heat flow equation. Though, di ba, alam naman natin na yung heat rate natin is governed by the Fourier's law. Still, pag alam natin ang heat diffusion equation, pag na-establish natin ang heat diffusion equation, makukuha natin yung heat rate depending on anong material when we talk about conduction. Yan. And sa heat diffusion equation, meron tayong tatlo na ini-evaluate. We have the for Cartesian coordinates. Ito, Cartesian coordinates siya. Yun yung in-evaluate natin dito is in terms of X direction, Y direction, and Z direction. Then, sa cylindrical, pag cylindrical naman, yung object natin or kapag ang ina-evaluate natin is a cylindrical in shape, this is we evaluate the heat diffusion equation in terms of our R, your phi direction, and your Z direction. And then when we talk about spherical naman, kapag spherical coordinates, this is in spherical. This is in terms of R direction, phi direction, and in theta direction. Yan. Yan yung ating ine-evaluate on these directions. So, sa Cartesian coordinates, I'll be showing to you how we derive the heat diffusion equation and the temperature distribution and the heat rate sa Cartesian coordinates. Ito. So ipapakita ko siya sa inyo. For you to be familiar, bakit naging ganon or bakit yun yung gagamitin natin. And the spherical coordinates, I will upload it sa Google Classroom. I will add it sa Google Classroom. The step-by-step process on how we get the heat diffusion equation for this as for spherical coordinates. Then, yung cylindrical, itong cylindrical, this will be part of your problem set. You will derive the heat diffusion equation. You will derive the heat diffusion equation. Then you will also get the temperature distribution as well as your heat rate na cylindrical coordinates. Again, this is going to be part of your problem set. Yun. So let's paano natin siya gagawin? So we need to in order for us to solve the heat diffusion equation, we need to establish first our we have to define our control volume. Kailangan kumuha tayo ng control volume. Kuha tayo or dapat alam natin yung control volume. Then second, since meron tayong control volume, we need to have an energy balance equation. Or we need to do energy balance. Then next, pag meron na tayo energy balance, then we get the rate equations. Or your heat rate equations. Kailangan natin makuha yan. Then from that, we can simplify further and further dyan. Yan. So let's do the Cartesian coordinates. Sabi natin, 'di ba? Heat diffusion equation is a partial differential equation. So, let's say ito yung object natin. Itong box na to, ito. Ito yung object natin. Yan, ito yung object natin. So, yan. Saglit. Yan. So, yung object natin na yan, we need to get a control volume. So, kumuha tayo ng maliit na part ng cube na yan. And yan, yung kulay red, yan yung kinuha nating part. And in-enlarge siya dito sa part na to. Ito, in-enlarge natin siya dyan. And since that is just a small part, that is just a small part of the whole object, that is just a small part, then this is our control volume. This is already our control volume. And since maliit nga lang siyang part, then that would be a differential control volume. Differential control volume. Yan, dV. Differential. Kasi again, we're talking about partial differential equations. So, yung volume niya is just the differential volume. Now, anong formula niya? Based dyan sa diagram natin, what would be the formula for the differential control volume ng ating control volume? Anong formula niyan? Anong formula ng dV? Given yung parameters natin ng prism na yan, what will be the formula for differential volume? Anyone? Based sa figure, anong formula ng volume. Paano natin makukuha ang volume dyan? Paano? Paano natin makukuha?
Sir, try lang po.
Sige daw.
Yung dx times dy times dz ko po.
That is correct. That is your dx times dy times dz. Di ba? Kasi, sorry. Kasi siya ay dx, dy, dz. Kasi di ba volume is length times width times height. So your length is dx, your width is dy, your height is dz. So that is your volume. Again, we are talking about differential control volume. Differential. So kaya yan lahat pa d, dx, dy, dz. So yan, we already defined our differential control volume, dv. Ngayon, next natin is to do the energy balance equation. Since this is a control volume, a differential control volume, ibig sabihin yung energy balance natin would be E in minus E out plus your generated energy or energy generation equals stored energy. Again, gaya na sabi natin last time, your E in and E out, di ba? This always occur, or this is a surface phenomenon. Basta may surface, there can be energy coming in and energy coming out of the surface. Then when we talk about energy generation and stored energy, this is a volumetric phenomenon. Ibig sabihin, if there is a volume, there can be stored energy, there can be energy generated. Kasi again, they are dependent on volume. And since we are evaluating a control volume, nag-evaluate tayo ng control volume, i-consider natin siya sa energy balance, ang energy generation at energy storage. Now, yan, meron na tayong energy balance. Now, I want you to look at the system. Let's evaluate energy coming in. Ano yung mga energy coming in? Pakidikta sa akin, ano yung mga energy coming in? Based from this illustration, we have
QX po.
QX,
QZ po.
QZ, at
QY po.
QY. That is right. So we have QX plus QY plus QZ. Ito yan. QX, QY, at saka, nasa na QZ? Ito, QZ. Those are all energy coming in to the system. Next, ano naman yung mga energy coming out? Ano yung mga lumalabas na energy coming out?
QZ
QX
plus
plus
DZ.
Sige, QX plus DX. Ano pa?
QZ plus DZ.
QZ plus DZ and QY plus DY.
Plus
Yan. So, yan yung ating energy coming out, going out. The next is, kailangan natin makuha ang energy generation. So, your energy generation, gaya na sabi natin, this is a volumetric phenomenon. Sabihin, if there is a volume, then pwede magkameron ng energy generation dyan. So, with that said, ibig sabihin, ang heat rate natin, or the energy generated is equal to the heat rate, Q, times the volume, dV, Q dV. That is your energy generation, Q dV. Yeah, QDV, energy generation. This is again a volumetric phenomenon. Kaya meron tayong volume. Yung heat rate natin times the volume, QDV. Then your stored energy, gaya na sabi ko kanina, how do we solve stored energy? That's MCP delta T. So that's rho CP dV times the partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. Again, kasi ang rho CP delta T natin or ang stored energy is time dependent. This is a function of time. Temperature is a function of time. May pagbabago sa temperature with respect sa time when we talk about stored energy. Kaya yan ay MCP delta T. M is rho times dV. Density times volume. Then CP times your partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. So, yan. Kompleto na yung ating energy coming in, energy coming out, energy generated, and stored energy. Now, let's proceed with uh, lahat ng yan. We need to get this rate equation. Let's start with energy in. Energy in. Let's start with QX. Anong formula natin ng QX again? Anong formula natin ng QX or ng Q, ng heat rate? Formula ng heat rate. That is negative. Anong formula natin ng heat rate? Negative.
KDY/dz po.
Formula ng heat rate, yung formula ng heat rate mismo, anong formula ng heat rate natin? Negative. Formula ng heat rate with respect to X. Ulit-ulit na lang tayo dito sa heat rate na to. Anong formula niyan?
Negative K dt over dx po.
Heat rate, heat rate. I need heat rate. Hindi heat flux, heat rate. That is negative
Negative K dt over dx.
Ka times, since ito meron tayong tatlong dimensions, x, y, z, so we will be using negative Ka, the partial derivative of t with respect to x. Now, evaluate natin yung area. Ano yung area na perpendicular sa Qx? Ito yung Qx natin. Ito yung Qx natin. Ano yung area perpendicular sa kanya? Ito, di ba? Ito yung perpendicular area. That is, anong area niyan? That is that is dy times dz. Di ba? Yun yung area niya. So, kaya ito, our Qx would be negative k dy dz times your partial derivative of temperature with respect to x. So, ganyan din yung gagawin natin sa Qy. This is negative k. Yung area niya ni Qy na perpendicular sa kanya is ito. Ito. That is ito at ito. Diba? Diyan siya tatama. Yan, yung area na yan. So, that is negative k dx dz. Madali siyang tandaan. Kapag x, y, z. Kapag y, x, z. Then ito, partial derivative of t with respect to y. Then qz, your qz would be negative k dx dy partial derivative of t with respect to z. Yan. So, okay na ang qx natin. Ang qx, qy, qz. How about yung energy out? Energy out is, let's say dito. Energy out, we can solve that. Ang kinukuha naman kasi natin dito is ano yung energy out after niyang mag-move or after niya mag-transfer sa kabilang surface. Kaya siya may x plus dx yung distance natin. So, if you can still recall, sa inyong advanced mathematics, we do have the Taylor series of expansion. Doon, if we do that para ma-solve natin ang qx plus dx using Taylor series of expansion, makukuha natin si qx plus dx, and then we neglect yung higher terms and we just truncate it in the first order. So, doon, given that, ang lalabas sa sagot dito for qx plus dx, again, using Taylor series of expansion, yung qx plus dx natin will just be equal to qx plus the partial derivative of your qx with respect to x, the partial derivative of your qx with respect to x times dx. Yan. So, ganyan din sa qy plus dy. Qy plus dy is your qy plus the partial derivative of qy with respect to y dy. Then si z, qz plus dz, this is equal to your qz plus the partial derivative of qz with respect to z dz. Yan. So that is your energy coming out. So, yan yung mga equations natin. So, energy in and energy out. Since meron na tayong equation for energy generation ito, and itong ating energy storage, we can substitute it sa ating energy balance equation. Let's substitute it doon sa energy in minus energy out. So, we do have QX plus QY plus QZ. This is your energy coming in, di ba? Minus energy out. Ang energy out natin ay yung QX plus DX, QY plus DY, at QZ plus DZ. So substitute natin yung values. That's QX plus the partial derivative of QX with respect to X, DX plus QY plus the partial derivative of QY with respect to Y, DY plus QZ plus the partial derivative of QZ with respect to Z, DZ. Yan, that is your energy going out. Plus your energy generation, which is Q dV, equals your stored energy is rho Cp dV times your partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. Yan. Now, we simplify, we combine like terms, di ba? Yung energy out natin, may negative sa labas. Ito, naka-negative siya. So, you distribute the negative sign, makakancel ang QX, ito, QY, at QZ, makakancel. So, ang matitira na lang sa atin is your, matitira sa atin is your negative partial derivative of QX with respect to X, dx minus the partial derivative of Qy with respect to Y, dy minus the partial derivative of Qz, dz, ano pa? Ito, Qdv equals rho Cp dV times the partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. So, yan. Yan yung ating bagong equation. This is our new equation. Now, we solve for the partial derivative ng Qx, ng Qy at ng Qz. So, paano natin siya isosolve? So, let's have your partial derivative of Qx dx is equal to, ito yan. Ito. Diba? This is your value of Qx. Ito ang value natin ng Qx. Ngayon, ang kailangan natin ay yung partial derivative niya. Ibig sabihin, i-derivative natin yan. Itong part na to para makuha si partial derivative of Qx. So, let's say, yan yung equation natin, di ba? So, substitute negative k dy dz times your partial derivative of temperature with respect to x. Ito, Qx yan. Di ba? Qx to. Ito yan. Ito. Ang kailangan natin ay partial derivative. So, anong gagawin natin? E di ipa-partial derivative natin with respect to x. Yan. So, yan yung partial derivative of Qx with respect to x. So, ganyan din yung gagawin natin kay Qy. That's negative k dx dz. Partial derivative of t with respect to y, i-derivative natin. Ipa-partial derivative natin with respect to y. Then si dqz is negative k dx dy. Partial derivative of temperature with respect to z, i-derivative natin. Ipa-partial derivative natin. Yan. So, this is your partial derivatives of your Q, of your heat rate. Now, substitute, ibalik natin sa equation. Ito, si partial derivative Qx, pag sinubstitute mo siya ito, dito, since ito ay negative, nagiging positive k na yan. So, let's say that's k. Then, mapapansin nyo, may dx, may dy, may dz. K, tas dx, dy, dz. That is equal to your differential volume. dV na yan. dx dy dz, that's dv. Then, ito, partial derivative, tapos partial derivative at partial derivative. So, siya ay magiging second partial derivative of temperature with respect to x. Yan. Magiging second partial derivative siya. So, yan yung ating sa part ng x. Then, pagdating sa y, ganun ulit, ito negative, magiging kdv second partial derivative of temperature with respect to y plus pagdating kay z, ganun din, kdv second partial derivative of temperature with respect to z plus your q dv equals rho cp dv times the partial derivative of your temperature with respect to time. Yan. And ito na yung bago nating equation. Ngayon, kung mapapansin nyo, lahat ng terms may differential volume. So we can just divide both sides by differential volume. Pag divide natin differential volume, this will be, matitira na lang is k, second partial derivative of temperature with respect to x, plus k, the second partial derivative of temperature with respect to y, plus k, the second partial derivative of temperature with respect to z, plus q equals rho cp, the partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. So this is your heat diffusion equation, your general heat diffusion equation in terms of Cartesian coordinates, or when we are evaluating it in Cartesian coordinates. Yan, and you can see this sa inyong manual. Doon sa manual, o doon sa inyong sa manual nyo nga, hindi pinakita kung paano siya dinerive, but this is your heat diffusion equation for Cartesian coordinates. Yeah. So we'll be using this later. Yeah, and then for the spherical, I'll be sending you the solution since ganun ulit siya kahaba pag dinerive natin. And then cylindrical coordinates would be your problem set. When for boundary and initial conditions, kapag ito yung mga conditions natin that we need to consider kapag nag-analyze tayo. So let's say we have constant surface temperature. So pag yung anong ibig sabihin yan? Surface temperature. So when you are at the surface, x equals 0, then your temperature is your surface temperature. Yan. Then kapag heat flux, or kapag mag-a-analyze tayo ng surface heat flux, yung ating heat flux, Q, double prime, syempre is equal to negative K, partial derivative of T with respect to X. This is one-dimensional, kasi with respect to X lang, one-dimensional. Ngayon, since siya ay sa surface, yung value natin ng X will just be equal to 0. Dito tayo mag-a-analyze itong surface na yan, which is equal to 0. So, kung pag nag-substitute tayo ang value ng X equal to 0, then that will be your heat flux. Then, pag sinabi nating insulated, again, insulated, perfectly insulated, adiabatic surface, perfectly insulated, then your heat flux, or there will be no heat transfer, equals to 0. There will be no heat transfer for adiabatic or insulated surface. And syempre, kapag yung surface ay may nagpa-flow na fluid doon sa surface na yon, then that will be a convection surface. So consider natin na siya, yung temperature doon, or sorry, yung ating heat flux doon is just equal to your convection. Yan. And saan natin gagamitin yan? Yung mga x equals 0, dito sa heat diffusion equation natin. So let's use this. Since nakuha na natin yung heat diffusion equation, I hope you do understand. Since nakuha natin yung heat diffusion equation, ang kukuhanin nating sunod ay yung temperature distribution at kung ano ang heat rate equation sa Cartesian coordinates. So let's have this. Yan. So, again, our heat diffusion equation is in Cartesian coordinate. Ganito din yung gagawin nyo, ha. Your heat diffusion equation in Cartesian coordinates, we do have K times the partial derivative of the second partial derivative of temperature with respect to X plus K, the second partial derivative of temperature with respect to Y plus K times the partial derivative of temperature with respect to Z plus your Q equals rho Cp dV, sorry, wala na siyang dV nga pala, rho Cp times your partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. So dito tayo magbe-base sa pagkuha ng temperature distribution and heat rate. Bakit ba kailangan natin yung temperature distribution? Kasi yung temperature distribution, yun yung nagsasabi sa atin kung ano yung temperature at a given point. At a given point ng surface. So kahit saang point yan, in any direction, may it be in X, Y, Z, basta siya ay within that temperature distribution equation, isa-substitute mo lang yung value doon ng X, Y, Z, makukuha natin yung temperature. Kaya need natin itong heat diffusion equation. So paano natin siya magagawa? If we assume first that we have constant properties. Constant properties. Again, ibig sabihin ng constant properties, kung ano man yung mga property, yung thermophysical properties na gagamitin natin, they will be held constant. Ibig sabihin, since ito, mapapansin nyo, di ba, may pagbabago lahat yan ng temperature, kahit magbago ang temperature, hindi magbabago ang values ng ating thermophysical properties. That means, that is what you mean by constant properties. So with that, ibig sabihin, yung value natin ni K, value ni K, value ni rho, value ni Cp, hindi mababago dito sa heat diffusion equation. So what we can do is we divide both sides by K. Divide natin both sides by K. Ang matitira na lang ay the second partial derivative of temperature with respect to X plus the partial derivative of the second partial derivative of the temperature with respect to Y plus the second partial derivative of temperature with respect to Z plus Q over K. Kasi again, we divide both sides by K equals, itong right side ay magiging rho Cp over K, di ba? Itong rho Cp over K, kung mapapansin nyo, kung maaalala nyo, is equal to the reciprocal of thermal diffusivity. Kasi di ba, ang thermal diffusivity is thermal conductivity over rho Cp. So, yan, since ito ay magiging rho Cp over K, ibig sabihin siya ay magiging 1 over diffusivity. Nagigets? So, yun. I hope you're getting the point. Naka-reciprocal lang siya. Kaya, nireciprocal lang natin yung thermal diffusivity times your partial derivative of temperature with respect to time. Yan. Yan. So, this is your new heat diffusion equation when we assume constant properties. Constant properties, yan yung equation natin. Paano naman kapag, siyempre, in-assume na natin constant properties? What if we also assume no internal heat generation? Ano? No internal heat generation. Ibig sabihin, wala daw generation of heat. Internally, wala. So, ibig sabihin, kung walang generation of heat, ito ay magzi-zero. Walang na-generate na heat eh. So, yan ay may magiging zero. Next, pag in-assume natin na steady state condition. Steady state conditions. Anong ibig sabihin kapag steady state conditions? Ibig sabihin, our temperature is not a function of time. Ibig sabihin, yung temperature natin is independent of time. Kahit, ibig sabihin, hindi natin kinoconsider yung change in temperature with respect to time. Ibig sabihin, hindi daw nababago ang temperature with respect sa time. Kaya nga siya steady, steady, steady. So, walang pagbabago or hindi natin kinoconsider sa analysis ang pagbabago ng temperature with respect sa time. So with that said, steady state, hindi kinoconsider yon yung pagbabago ng temperature with respect to time, ito ay magiging zero din. Magiging zero yan. And then last, we can also assume that we are only be analyzing in one-dimensional in x direction. We can assume that ang kailangan lang natin, we are just analyzing on x direction. So ibig sabihin, yung y direction at yung z direction, hindi natin isa-solve. So i-zero natin yan or i-neglect natin yan. So from that, we will now be having just the heat diffusion equation equal to, since mapapansin nyo, hindi na siya x, y, z, isang variable na lang siya, we can say that our heat diffusion equation is the second derivative of temperature with respect to x equals 0. So this would be your heat diffusion equation if we assume or if we do these assumptions. Kapag ganyan yung assumptions natin, yan yung ating heat diffusion equation. Yan. This is your heat diffusion equation. Paano naman kapag ang kailangan natin, di ba? Kailangan natin malaman kung ano yung mga temperature at given points. Kailangan natin makuha kung ano yung mga temperature at given points. So from this heat diffusion equation, makukuha natin si temperature kung mag-i-integrate tayo ng dalawang beses kasi yung equation natin is second derivative, di ba? Second derivative. So paano natin nakukuha si temperature? Mag-i-integrate tayo ng dalawang beses. So that's d squared t over dx squared equals 0. Ngayon, paano tayo nag-integrate ng dalawang beses? So, kuhanin muna yung isa, d over dx, tapos dt over dx equals 0. May pinagbago ba siya dito? Wala. Pinagdalwa lang natin. Pag pinag-multiply mo yan, that will just still be the second derivative of temperature with respect to time. So, yan. Ngayon, i-integral natin siya. So, mag-separate muna tayo ng variable. Itong dx, i-times natin dito sa kabila. So, that ang magiging mangyayari dyan is d na lang, dt over dx equals 0. Equals 0 pa rin kasi 0 times dx is 0. So, integral natin both sides. Ano ang integral ng d, ng derivative of temperature with respect to x? That will be dt over dx. Kasi, dalawa yan. Makakancel lang to. Diba? Derivative at integral. So, cancel yung unang derivative. So, matitira dt over dx. Ano ang integral ng 0? Ano integral ng 0? That is a constant. Integral ng 0 is a constant. C1. Next, ang kailangan natin ay temperature lang. Diba? Kailangan natin makuha si temperature lang. So, we do separation of variables. So, pag nag-separate tayo ng variables, ang mangyayari is, that will be dt equals C1 dx. Separation of variables sa ADMAT. Sineparate lang natin yung dalawang variables. So, yan. Since na-separate na natin, we can do integral again. We integrate again. So, anong integral ng dt? That is t. Integral ng dt is t. Anong integral ng c1 dx? C1 dx, integral niyan is C1x plus constant. Kasi 'di ba? Lagi tayo naglalagay ng constant pag nag-integrate. So that's temperature equals C1x plus C2. So this is your general formula. This is your general formula. C1x plus C2. Ngayon, hindi na natin kailangan ng general formula. Kailangan natin malaman kung ano yung specific na value ng C1, ng constant 1 at ng constant 2. Since dalawa yung constant natin, we need to have two boundary conditions. We need to have two boundary conditions. So, saan tayo kukuha nun? Since ito, di ba, we are just analyzing in one dimension. Let's say we have a wall here. Ito yung wall natin. And let's say this is your temperature 1. And this is your temperature 2. Your temperature 1 is at x equals 0. Yung point na yan is at x equals 0. Then, yung T sub 2 mo, this would be in x equals your thickness L. Yan, thickness mo is L. So, yan yung ating magiging basis for analysis ng solve ng boundary conditions ni C1 at ni C2. So, let's say boundary condition 1. When our temperature is equal to T1, kapag ang temperature natin, T, ay equal sa T1, ang X natin ay equal saan? Equal sa 0. Ito, equal siya sa 0. T1. Nasa X position niya is nasa 0. So, substitute natin sa equation. T1 equals C1, X ay 0, 0 equal plus C2. So, from this, we can say that our C2 is equal to T1 kasi ito magsi-0. Meron na tayong value na C2. Next is we evaluate at another boundary condition. Paano naman kapag sinabi natin na ang temperature ay equal sa T2, ibig sabihin ang X natin ay equal sa ating thickness. Yung distance na, yung thickness natin, X equals L. Substitute ulit, T2 equals C1. Ang X natin, dito ha, sinasubstitute natin dito, C1 times L plus, anong C2 natin? C2 is your T1. T1. Now, we can get C1. C1 is equal to T2, lipat si T1 sa kabila, minus T1, divide mo ng L. So, this is your C1. So, meron na tayong constant 1, meron na tayong constant 2, we can substitute this to our temperature equation. So that is T equals T2 minus T1 over L times X plus C2 is T1. So this is your temperature distribution kapag Cartesian coordinates. Kapag Cartesian coordinates. Yan. So ano ibig sabihin yan? Diba? For example, given tayo ng T2, given tayo ng T1, given din yung thickness L, pas tinatanong, let's say, ano yung temperature at this point, T of X, at this certain point. So, syempre, ibibigay yung distance niya from 0 papunta dito. Let's say, ito is 2.5. Let's say, this is 2.5. So, substitute mo lang dito 2.5. Then, yung mga parameters na yan, makukuha mo yung temperature dyan. Dyan sa point na yan. So, this is our temperature distribution T. T as a function of X. T as a function of X. Yan. And then, paano natin makukuha ang heat rate? Paano natin masasolve ang heat rate? If you can recall heat rate, or let's say heat flux, paano natin makukuha ang heat flux? Paano natin kukuhanin ang heat flux? That is Q. Diba? Heat flux natin is Q double prime is equal to negative K dt over dx. Yan. Negative K dt over dx. Anong ibig sabihin itong dt over dx? Diba? Yan ay temperature as a function of x. Pag dinerivative mo ang temperature as a function of x, that will be dt over dx. So, ibig sabihin, itong equation natin ng temperature distribution, this is temperature as a function of x, di ba? As a function of x, i-derivative natin yan, negative k. Derivative na temperature as a function of x natin, t2 minus t1 over L times x. So, siya lang yung may x, di ba? Diniderivative natin siya with respect to x. Siya lang yung may x, so that would be t2 minus t1 over L. Plus t1, this is a constant. So, pag dinerivative, magsi-zero. Yan. So, this is your formula of heat rate kapag Cartesian coordinates. Negative k times t2 minus t1 over L. So, that is how you derive, or this is how we derive our heat diffusion equation, our temperature distribution, and our heat flux when we analyze conduction. Yan. Siyempre, naman guys, alam ko naman na hindi nyo yan tatandaan. I mean, hindi nyo siya isosolve ng ganyan na kung paano ko siya pinakita. Pero, dapat alam nyo yung process. Alam nyo yung process kung paano siya sinosolve. Kasi, again, iba-iba yung tanong. Iba-iba yung tanong. And kung basta mo lang sasauluhin itong equation na to, itong equation na to, itong equation, itong mga equation na yan, tsaka yung heat diffusion equation natin, kung basta mo lang siya sasauluhin, hindi mo alam kung paano mo mapapalabas yung sagot. Paano kung hindi ito yung temperature distribution? Paano kung binigyan tayo ng equation, ng temperature distribution na ibang equation? So, hindi mo ito magagamit kasi may given. And hindi mo rin ito magagamit kasi nga may given. Nagagets, no? Kaya dapat marunong kayo mag-analyze or marunong kayo ng step-by-step process na to kasi ito yung gagamitin nyo sa pagsosolve ng mga problems. Kung paano siya pinakita dito. Kasi, yun nga, hindi naman lahat ng tanong ay ganito na hindi sasabihin ang temperature distribution at heat flux. Hindi sasabihin ko ano mga formulas nila. Kasi, yun nga, yung may mga problems na ibibigay na yan. So, pag binigay na yan, kailangan mong i-analyze paano ka mag-i-integrate, paano ka magdi-derivative, doon ka magsisimulang mag-solve. So, kailangan naiintindihan nyo siya. Kaya pinakita ko sa inyo kung paano siya nakuha kasi ganyan nyo din siya kukuhanin kung ano man yung maging given sa tanong. Basta, again guys, I want you to be familiar with the process kung paano siya sinosolve, kung paano tayo nag-establish ng boundary conditions, yan, paano tayo nag-establish ng boundary conditions, paano nag-i-integrate, dapat marunong kayo niyan kasi that's just variable separable. Yeah. So, yun, again, you have to be familiar with this process. I hope you copied, I hope you listened, and I hope you understood. I really do hope you understood this. Ayun. Bago tayo mag-proceed sa example, sinong may tanong? Sinong walang naintindihan? Sinong lutang na lutang dito? Sinong may tanong? Ayan, lutang na lutang ka. May tanong. Ano? Anil doon? May tanong o lutang na lutang sa analysis? Kasi again guys, gaya lang ng sinasabi ko sa inyo, nakadepende kung paano nyo i-analyze yung tanong, kung paano kayo mag-establish ng assumptions, dapat yung assumptions nyo tama, kasi pag mali yan, mali na yung mga kasunod. Kaya, hindi tayo kung magkakapare-pareho tayo ng solution, ibig sabihin, pareho tayo ng assumption. And yun, sinabi ko naman sa inyo yung common assumptions, we do have constant properties, steady state conditions, no internal heat generation, negligible radiation, one-dimensional. So, yun yung mga kalimitan. Kaya dapat alam nyo kung kailan nyo siya gagamitin. Depende sa tanong. Yan. But, again, I hope you copied. I hope at least man lang may naintindihan kayo dyan. You can always go back to this. Kung may nagre-record man sa inyo, ng discussion natin, huwag kayong maging madamot, i-share nyo sa iba para mabalikan din nila. Yun. Let's have an example na. Let's have an example. Para maaga kayong makalabas. Yan. Let's say this. Nasaan yun? Yan. The temperature distribution of a wall the temperature distribution of a wall 0.5 meters thick at a certain instant of time is the temperature as a function of x is equal to a plus bx plus cx squared, where t is in degrees Celsius and x is in meters. A equals 250 degrees Celsius, b equals negative 250 degrees Celsius per meter, c equals negative 30 degrees Celsius per square meter. The wall has a thermal conductivity of 1 watt per meter Kelvin. Determine the rate of heat transfer into and out of the wall and rate of energy stored by the wall on a unit surface area basis. And what is the convection heat transfer coefficient if the cold surface is exposed to a fluid at 150 degrees Celsius? Yan. So dito sa tanong na to, this will cover na lahat ng topics natin from the start until dito sa temperature distribution. Kaya ito yung kinuha kong example. Mako-cover na niya lahat. So, first, again, we need to establish our known parameters. Known. Ano ang known natin sa ating problem? We do have a wall with certain thickness. Ano pa ang meron sa wall natin? Given din niya yung thermal conductivity. And yung temperature distribution. With fluid flowing over the cold surface at certain temperature. Again, it depende sa inyo kung paano siya ina-analyze kung paano kayo magagawa ng known. Ito, analysis ko dito, meron tayong wall na may certain thickness, ito. Then, meron din siyang thermal conductivity din. And, binigyan tayo ng temperature distribution. As gaya ng sabi ko kanina, kung mapapansin nyo, yung temperature distribution natin, hindi siya yung na-solve nating temperature distribution. So, dito tayo magbe-base. Ito yung gagamitin natin sa pagsosolve. Where sinabi din na yung wall ay may fluid flowing over the cold surface. Ito, exposed siya doon at a certain temperature, 150 degrees Celsius. So, na-cover natin lahat. Na-cover natin lahat ng known sa problem. Next is what we are asked to find. Una, sa letter A, ang hinahanap ay rate of heat transfer into and out of the wall on a unit surface area basis. Again, ibig sabihin, naka-unit area basis tayo. Ibig sabihin, per unit area yung hinahanap. Per unit heat rate per unit area. That is heat flux. Heat flux coming into and out of the wall. Into and out of the wall, that is Q double prime in and Q out double prime. Into, in, and out of the wall. Then, tinatanong din ang rate of energy stored by the wall. So, meron tayong stored energy by the wall. Hinahanap din. Stored energy by the wall. This is your EST. Then sa letter B, hinahanap is convection heat transfer coefficient. Convection heat transfer coefficient H. Yan. Then we have to draw our schematic diagram. Oops. Our schematic diagram. So let's say we have a wall. Di ba sabi? We do have a wall. Na 0.5 meters thick. Ito daw ay 0.5 meters thick. Then, meron siyang thermal conductivity K na 1 watt per meter Kelvin. Then, binigyan din tayo ng temperature distribution of Tx equals A plus Bx plus Cx squared. Walang binigay na kahit anong temperature, di ba? Walang binigay na temperature na kahit ano. And then, ano pa ang binigay? Meron daw fluid sa cold surface. So, let's say, ito yung T1 natin. Let's say, itong part na to yung T1. Let's assume this is your T1, yung left side. Then, this is your T2. Then, yung cold surface, let's assume ang cold surface natin is yung surface ng T2. Let's assume that is our cold surface. So, meron daw fluid dyan na nagpo-flow. Let's say ito yung fluid. Your fluid. Nagpo-flow which is at temperature at 150 degrees Celsius. Yung H niya ay unknown. Yan. So, yan. Yan yung schematic diagram natin. This is your wall at a given thickness, given a temperature distribution at yung K. Yan. And then, ano pang need natin? Goods na yan. Okay na yan for schematic diagram. Next is properties. May properties ba tayong gagamitin? Wala. Kasi binigay naman ang thermal conductivity ng wall. So, wala tayong titingnan sa table. So, we can skip properties. Then, we have assumptions. Assumptions 1. Unang assumption natin. Ano pwede nating unang assumption? We can say constant properties. Hindi magbabago ang K. Hindi magbabago ang value ni K kahit magpalit ang temperature. Pangalawa, we can also assume one-dimensional. One-dimensional heat transfer. Kasi, bakit siya one-dimensional? Paano natin nasabing, or paano natin ma-assume na one-dimensional? Kasi, yung temperature natin ay nagbabago with respect to X lang, based sa temperature distribution. With respect to X lang siya nagbabago. So, we can assume that that is one-dimensional heat transfer. Next ay, ano pwede nating i-assume? Wala namang sinabing may heat generation, di ba? Walang sinabing may heat generation. So, we can assume no internal heat generation. No internal heat generation. I-assume na agad natin para hindi na tayo mag-solve niyan. No internal heat generation. Then, can we assume steady state conditions? Pwede ba natin i-assume na steady state condition siya? Anyone? Sa tingin nyo? I-assume natin steady state condition?
No po, sir.
Bakit? Bakit hindi natin siya i-assume na steady state condition? Kasi Kasi what? Kasi sabi sa notes ng ibang section, di daw i-assume. Kasi meron tayong stored energy, di ba? Pinahanap sa atin ng stored energy. Nandito yan, sorry, wala tayong stored energy sa diagram. Pinahanap ang stored energy. Pinahanap ang stored energy. Eh di ba pag steady state condition, under steady state conditions, zero ang stored energy. Ay alam namang i-zero natin. Ano namang i-zero natin para hindi na tayo mag-solve. Ay hindi pwede, hindi pwede nating well, kung inassume nyo siyang inassume nyo siyang steady state condition, then automatic yung sagot nyo sa stored energy ay zero. Nagigets na yung point ko? Kasi inassume nyo siyang steady state condition. So magsi-zero yung stored energy natin. Eh ang sama naman na hinahanap sa tanong, tapos i-assume mo lang siya na zero. Wag. Wag. So pwede naman mo siyang i-assume pero edi zero din ang score mo. Kaya kasi ang concept, bakit siya ipapahanap kung i-assume mo lang siyang zero, 'di ba? So dito sa problem natin, hindi natin i-assume na siya ay steady state condition para makuha natin yung tunay na value ng stored energy. Nagets ba 'yon? Gets ba 'yon? Nagigets nyo ba yung point? Parang hindi nyo nagigets. Nagets nyo ba yun? Nagets nyo? Ano yun? Hindi siya makaimik. Sino ba yung nag-open ng mic na yun?
Yes po, sir.
Yun, again guys hindi natin pwedeng i-assume na steady state condition siya. Kasi 'di ba pag sinabi nating steady state condition, zero ang stored energy. Eh pinapahanap sa tanong ang stored energy by the wall. Eh mapangit siyang tingnan kung i-assume natin yun, tapos para lang may masabi tayong sagot sa stored energy, sabihin natin zero agad yung sagot. Wag. Okay lang yun na i-assume natin na stored energy ay pwede nating i-assume na steady state condition siya basta hindi siya binanggit sa tanong. Hindi siya binanggit sa tanong, hindi siya hinahanap, we can assume. Gaya ng internal heat generation, wala namang nabanggit sa tanong. 'Di ba? Walang nabanggit sa tanong about internal heat generation, i-assume nating wala. Ngayon, may nabanggit na stored energy, so wag tayo mag-assume na steady state condition. Yun. I hope that is clear. Next is analysis na tayo. Magsosolve na tayo. Analysis, una muna nating gawin sa analysis is since may wall tayo, 'di ba? Mag-energy balance tayo. We consider the wall as a control volume, as a volume, control volume kasi we have stored energy. So ano ang energy balance ng control volume ng wall natin? That is E in minus E out plus your energy generated equals your stored energy. Diba? Yan yung ating energy balance equation. And since in-assume natin na no internal heat generation, this would be zero. So matitira is your energy in minus energy out equals stored energy. Ngayon, paano natin makukuha ang energy in? So balik tayo sa diagram natin. Yan. Yan. Ano yung energy in? Ano yung nangyayari sa wall? We will be having meron ba siyang heater? Meron ba siyang heater? Nakadikit ba siya sa heater? Wala, 'di ba? So wala yung heat flow or wala yung heat flux coming from an outside medium. Ang meron lang talaga diyan ay heat flux or heat flow sa system, sa mismong system. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong Q in dito. That's heat flux. So, Q in. Meron din tayong Q out dito. So, basically, ang i-analyze lang natin ay yung mga nasa surface, which is yung Q sub in. So, based sa ating boundary conditions kanina, since meron tayong Q sub in dyan, so yung Q sub in natin, based again sa boundary conditions kanina, is equal to negative K dt over dx. Ano yung boundary conditions natin dyan sa papasok na heat coming in? That would be, magmumula siya at x equals 0. Sa 0, kasi doon tayo mag-evaluate ng heat rate. Mula doon, at x equals 0. Sa surface, di ba sabi kanina, heat flux at the surface. Balikan natin. Yan, heat flux at the surface. Heat flux at the surface, x equals 0. Ito ay surface natin na ito at x equals 0. Yan, kaya siya at x equals 0. Ngayon, substitute. Substitute ang value. Hindi pala muna tayo mag-substitute. Kailangan mo nating i-simplify. Negative k, what is your dt over dx? Ibig sabihin, derivative ng ating temperature. Derivative ng temperature natin as a function of x. Derivative ng temperature as a function of x. Ito yon, di ba? I-derivative natin yung ating temperature distribution with respect sa x. So, ang matitira dyan, pag dinerivative natin yan, that will be b plus 2cx. Nagigets? Mag-derivative lang tayo. Dinerivative lang natin yung temperature. So, that's negative k times b plus 2cx. Now, dyan tayo ngayon magsasubstitute ng values. So, k natin is negative 1 watt per meter Kelvin. Our value for b, sabi sa tanong, is negative 250 watt. Ano yun? Unit niya is negative degree Celsius per meter. Plus 2C. Ang value natin is CI 30 degrees Celsius per square meter times your x ay 0 meter. Yan. So, ito, magsi-zero out to kasi 2 times 30 times 0 is 0. Negative times negative, negative 250 times negative 1, that is 250 watt per square meter. Kasi ito Kelvin, degree Celsius, that's just a temperature difference. Kasi derivative, temperature difference. So, okay lang yan. Cancel lang yan. So, this is your Q coming in. Heat flux coming in. Yan. And then next, solve naman natin si Q out. Saang surface lalabas ang energy coming out? Dito, sa surface na to. Itong surface na to, di ba? Ito. Yung surface na yan. Diyan lalabas. Again, dito sa surface na to. Dito lalabas yung ating energy out. So, we evaluate it at negative K dt over dx. Anong surface yun? Anong surface siya lalabas? That is at x equals the thickness L, which is 0.5 meters. So, ganun ulit ang gagawin. I-evaluate natin negative K, derivative ng temperature natin, that's B plus 2Cx at X equals 0.5 meters. Substitute, that's negative 1 watt per meter Kelvin times B, negative 250 Celsius per meter plus 2 times 30 degrees Celsius per square meter times your 0.5 meters. Pakisolve, ano po ang value ng Q out natin? Na ating heat flux coming out?
220 po.
That is 220 watt per square meter. So, yan, yung values natin ng energy in, ng ating heat rate coming in, heat flux coming in, and out of the wall. Nakuha ba ng lahat ang 220?
Yes po, sir.
Yan. Next, ano pang hinahanap natin sa letter A? Yung stored energy by the wall. So balik tayo sa ating energy balance, which is E in minus E out equals stored energy. So nakuha natin yung energy in at energy out, which we just substitute Q double prime in, Q out double prime equals your stored energy. So your stored energy is equal to 250 watt per square meter minus 220 watt per square meter. So this is going to be stored energy is
30 po.
30 watts per square meter. So yan, kompleto na ang ating hinahanap sa letter A. Nakahabol ba? Nakakasunod ba lahat? Nagigets yung process?
Yes
Sige.
po, sir.
Sige. Next isolve natin is yung ating convection heat transfer coefficient kung may nagpo-flow daw sa surface. So i-redraw na lang muna natin siya. I-redraw muna natin yung ating figure. So ito yung wall. Say this is your T1. This is your T2. Then may fluid tayo dito. It's your fluid with ambient temperature equals 150 degrees Celsius. Then saglit lang guys. Yan, tama pala. Ano pa ang kulang sa figure? So we have our your Q in, your Q out, your stored energy. Yan. So, yan. Next, ang hinahanap natin ay yung what is the convection heat transfer coefficient when the wall is exposed, when the cold surface of the wall is exposed to the fluid. Let's say yung T2, itong part na to, itong part na wall na to, yan, ito yung exposed sa fluid. Yan yung exposed sa fluid. Yung wall na yan. So, ngayon, paano natin siya i-analyze yung convection dyan? So, kailangan natin energy balance on the surface. Energy balance on the surface. So, energy balance on the cold surface. So, i-drawing natin. Palit tayo ng kulay. Yan. Yan sa surface na yan. Di ba? Itong wall natin, itong buong wall natin, ito, hanggang dito, ay we have our conduction. Di ba? Kasi that is a solid surface. This is a solid surface. So may conduction tayo dyan. Wherein, from higher temperature Q in, going to the lower temperature. So, ibig sabihin, ano yung energy, di ba pag sinabi natin surface, pag sa surface tayo nag-analyze, that is just E in equals E out. So, ano yung energy coming in dyan? Di ba? Yung energy coming in dyan will be your Q conduction, itong Q double prime in mo. Kaso, siya kasi ay nandun sa kabilang surface. Since magpo-flow siya papunta dito sa surface na to, nagkameron ng stored energy, di ba? Nagka-stored energy. So that's Q in minus your stored energy is your Q out. So ibig sabihin, yung papasok dito sa surface na to will be your Q out. Di ba? Nagigets nyo ba? Ito yan. Galing din siya dito. Di ba? Q in. Q double prime in. Your heat flux coming in. Then since may pumasok na heat flux, may na-store na energy from that heat flux coming in. Na-store siya sa loob ng wall. Na-store yung energy na yon. So kaya, ang lalabas lang out of the wall will be your Q in minus your EST, which is your Q out. So, yung magpo-flow dito is your convection or your conduction going out the system, going out of the system, going out of the wall. So, yun yung energy coming in mo. Q out double prime. Nagigets Q out double prime yung papasok doon sa wall na yon. That is still your conduction. That is still your conduction. Kaso nga hindi lang siya equal sa energy coming sa heat rate in kasi na-store yung iba. Hindi lahat lumabas, hindi lahat siya palabas kasi na-store yung ibang value, na-store yung 30 watts. Kaya yung papunta lang doon sa kabilang wall is your Q double prime out, your heat flux going out, which is yun nga, Q double prime out. That's the energy coming in doon sa surface na yon. When the energy coming out will be, itong kabilang part ng surface natin ay merong meron tayong convection. Nandito yung convection natin, di ba? Kasi nandito yung fluid natin. So, there will be convection heat transfer dyan. Your energy out is your energy, your convection heat flux. And we know that the convection heat flux is equal to H times the H times our convection heat sorry, your ambient temperature minus the surface temperature T2. Bakit? Ganyan. Again, balikan natin yung boundary condition. Dito, yan. Ambient temperature minus your surface temperature. T2. Ngayon, we substitute. Meron ba tayong value ng convection heat flow? Ng convection heat flux, may value tayo o wala? May value tayo ng convection heat flux? Meron, wala? Guys, meron, wala?
Equal po siya sa A out, sir.
Since
Sa
equal siya
Q
sa
out po pala.
Since equal siya sa Q out, meron tayong value o wala?
Meron po.
Meron. So ano yung Q out natin? That is 220 watt per square meter equals H is unknown, 'di ba? Hinahanap yung H. May ambient temperature tayo which is 150 degrees Celsius. Minus, may T sub 2 ba tayo? May T2 tayo? May value tayo ng T2? May value ba tayo ng T sub 2? May value tayo ng T sub 2? Guys, may value ba tayo ng T sub 2? Basahin ang tanong. May value ba tayo ng T sub 2? May value tayo ng T sub 2? Guys, may value ba tayo ng T sub 2?
Yung 150 po.
Yung 150 is the fluid temperature, 'di ba? Sabi sa tanong is exposed to a fluid at 150 degrees Celsius. Yun ay yung fluid natin. So meron ba tayong T sub 2? Yung surface
Wala
temperature, wala tayong surface temperature. So dito sa problem na to, dalawa pa yung nawawala. And since, 'di ba, ito pala, itong T sub 2, hindi pa natin siya sure. Hindi natin siya sure kung alin yung cold surface pala. Hindi natin sure kung ito bang part na to or ito. Hindi natin alam. So let's say that's T sub S pa, T sub S. Hindi natin alam kung alin. So ang gagawin natin, paano natin nakukuha yung temperature na yon? That is through our temperature distribution. 'Di ba? Given tayo ng temperature distribution which is A plus Bx plus Cx squared. Binigyan tayo nito. Dito natin nakukuha yung temperature at a given point. So let's say, ang kuhanin muna natin si T1. Kuhanin natin si T1. Anong x ni T1? That is x equals to? Anong x ni T1? X equals to saan? Yung x ni T1 equal sa 0. So substitute nyo. Para makuha ang temperature ni 1. A is 250 degrees Celsius plus negative 250 degrees Celsius per meter times 0 meter plus 30 degrees Celsius per square meter times your 0 meter. Anong value ni T1? Anong value ni T1? This is
250.
250 degrees Celsius. How about si T2? Ano naman ang x ni T2? Yung kanyang
0.5 po.
Yung kanyang thickness, 0.5. Substitute. 250 degrees Celsius plus negative 250 degrees Celsius per meter times 0.5 meters plus 30 degrees Celsius per square meter times 0.5 meter square. Square to. Yan. So, anong value niyan? Anong value ni T sub 2?
140 po.
140 po.
140? Sure kayo?
132.5 po.
That is?
132
132.5 po.
Paki-double check. 132.5 ba? Paki-compute ulit.
Opo. Yes po.
132.5. Yan. So, that is your value of T2. So, ibig sabihin, yung expose sa fluid surface, tama yung drawing natin, na si T2 yung naka-expose sa fluid surface. Sa cold, yung T2 yung side ng wall na naka-expose sa fluid kasi that is the cold surface. Mas mababa yung temperature niya. So, yan. Nakuha natin si T2. Substitute lang. 220 watt per square meter equals H 150 degrees Celsius minus 132.5 degrees Celsius. So your H would be equal to, pakisolve,
12.57 po.
12.57. Continue.
142857.
Watt per square meter Kelvin. This is your value of H. Yan, ganyan po ang pag-analyze natin ng ating conduction. When we consider until temperature distribution, hanggang temperature distribution pa lang yung kino-consider natin. Marami pang kasunod. Next topic natin would be your thermal resistances. Ko-consider natin ang thermal resistances. The next, meron tayong alternative conduction analysis. Yun, hanggang doon. Alternative conduction analysis. After noon, ang solve naman natin is in terms of radial and spherical systems. Hindi na siya Cartesian, di ba? Ito Cartesian to, wall lang to, mga wall. Paano kapag cylindrical na yung kino-consider natin? Paano kung sphere na? Yun. And then, next ay two-dimensional na. Paano kung x at y na, yung solve natin? Or sa cylindrical, paano pag r at phi na? Paano pag sa spherical, phi at z na, yung i-analyze natin heat conduction. So yan, hanggang dito lang muna tayo today. Hanggang dito lang, considering yung boundary conditions natin until temperature distribution. And I hope somehow I hope somehow you get the point of heat conduction. From this, again, considering the heat diffusion equation and temperature distribution. Ayun. Sinong may tanong? Sinong may tanong? Hanggang dito lang yung discussion natin today. Sinong may tanong? I'll be uploading this as well. Itong solution na to, I'll be uploading this sa Google Classroom. Since kayo na naman yung last, i-upload ko na siya mamaya. Tanong, clarifications. Alin part yung medyo nalilito kayo? Or lahat nakakalito? Yung tunay. Lahat nakakalito. Lahat mahirap. Tanong. Walang maitanong o walang naintindihan? Sasagot kayo guys. Hindi ko kayo madidismiss, hindi kayo umiimik.
Wala naman na po siguro, sir.
Walang walang
Wala.
naintindihan.
Wala pong tanong, sir.
Wala rin naintindihan. May naintindihan ka kayo? Yung tunay, may naintindihan ka kayo?
Meron
Sino
naman.
yun? Totoo ka? Tunay ka? Wala naman kayo sasagot sa quiz. Sa Friday. Hanggang dito, hanggang dyan, yung i-quiz natin sa Friday. Hanggang temperature distribution. Ayun, depende pa pala, depende. Kayo, yun yung agenda pa natin ngayon. Gusto nyo na ba mag-quiz sa week 4? Pag mag-quiz tayo, kasi sabi dapat na may quiz by week 4. Mag-quiz tayo, ang coverage is until dito sa topic na to. Kung mag-quiz tayo ng week 4, hanggang dito lang, hanggang dito, yung coverage na. Pero, if sa week 6 tayo mag-quiz, ang coverage na nan ay hanggang radial systems. Hanggang yung mga spherical, hanggang doon sa calculation doon, hanggang matapos ang spherical, ang pag-solve natin ng spherical. So hanggang doon yung magiging exam natin. Kung sa week 6. So anong trip nyo? Ngayong week 4 or week 6? Pagdesisyonan nyo. Week 6? Sigurado kayo? Pagdesisyonan nyo munang lahat. Well, feel ko naman ganun din magiging score nyo. Maalin sa week 4 or week 6. Pinahaba nyo lang yung kaba. Yun, basta pag-desisyonan nyo muna siya. Desisyonan nyo muna siya. Then class let me know. Let me know. Kasi yung section 4, magki-quiz na daw sila. Ganun din naman, magki-quiz na din para mas kakunti pa yung aaralin. Yung section 8, di ko natanong ang section 8 pala. At saka section 9, kasi sinabi ko sa kanila, pag-iisipan ko kung magki-quiz na tayo or hindi. Pero sige, mag-quiz na. Mag-quiz na kami. Kayo, depende sa inyo. Yun. And, regarding sa problem set nyo, the first part of your problem set would be the first five problems ng lesson 1 sa manual. Yun, since hindi natin siya na-discuss, hindi natin siya sinolve kasi iba yung problems na sinolve natin. So that will be the first 5 problems sa lesson 1. Then sa lesson 2, ang item sa problem set sa lesson 2 would be your derivation of heat diffusion equation, temperature distribution, and heat rate of the cylindrical coordinate. Yun sa lesson 2. Then sa lesson 3 will be isa sa temperature distribution, isa sa thermal resistance, isa sa alternative conduction analysis, isa sa radial systems, isa sa cylindrical systems, Then, lesson 4, isa sa two-dimensional steady state condition. So, bali, that's 12 items lahat-lahat. Yung magiging problem set natin. Yun. So, yun. Depende sa inyo kung anong gusto nyo, hard copy or engineering lettering. Yun. Nakadepende sa inyo. Just let me know. Just let me know. Sabihin nyo muna sa class rep nyo. Pag-desisyonan nyo muna. Ayun, basta yun. Most likely 12 items yun. Again, the first 5 problems sa book, sa manual, then derivation ng heat diffusion equation ng temperature distribution at saka ng heat rate equation ng cylindrical coordinates. So that's number 6. Number 7 would be a temperature distribution. Dalawa pala yun. Dalawang temperature distribution. 2 items for temperature distribution. So that's 8. 9 would be your thermal resistance. 10 is alternative conduction analysis. 11 would be the cylindrical systems. Then 12 is your radial systems. And then 13th would be two-dimensional steady state conduction. Yun. So 13 items pa rin, 13 problems. Again, kayo mag-decide noon. I'll also announce sa GC ng class rep, then I need your response within the day kasi next week na yon. So I need your response within the day. Yun lang naman. So sinong may tanong pa bago ko kayo dismiss? Sinong may tanong? Kasi gabi na, sinong may tanong? Concerns, clarifications? Yes po.
Ako po, sir, may concern lang po ako. Pero siguro po kahit after na lang po i-dismiss.
Sige. Hindi, magstay ka na lang muna dito.
Okay po.
Sino pa may concern? Wala na? Gusto niyo nang umuwi? Gusto niyo magpahinga? Ako din, gusto ko na din. Sige, wala nang tanong, open ka muna. Class rep a screenshot. Let me know if okay na. Palagay dun sa Google Drive ha.
Everyone, mag-i-screenshot na po ako. 1, 2. Okay na po, sir.
Sige, I think that's it for today. Thank you for attending the class. See you next week. Have a great night ahead. Thank you.
Thank you po,
Thank
sir.
you po, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.